Good day, my name is Tourski. I'm a serial entrepreneur, and in this context I'm the founder of izi.TRAVEL platform, the storytelling platform which allows you to listen to stories in museums and cities around the world. And today I'm going to present you the project which I call Post Platforms, and this recording is done on the yesterday's request from my policy making colleagues who are trying to understand how the public authorities can address all kinds of issues created by platforms. Actually, as a founder and manager of the platform, well, probably not as big as YouTube, but we are the largest platform in mobile storytelling. As a founder of the platform, I have exactly the same concerns, because although I'm quite small now, and of course I'm trying to find investors, etc., I'm really afraid that at the moment when we'll become, well-known storytelling platform all around the world, and you will, refer to izi.TRAVEL like you refer now to YouTube, at this moment, the platform will become like Facebook. We will own the stories of all the world, and I don't think it's a good idea, because at this moment investors and effective managers from Coca-Cola will take over the complete project, and yeah, you'll have another issue on your table, together with Google and others. And I'm afraid of such a scenario, and I would like to find a way where when society from one side and business from another can find a solution suitable for both sides. Because monopoly of the platforms is not a good idea. Well, it looks nice, we can get a lot of revenues, but in the end of the day, everybody will suffer, even platforms. So I'm really on your side in this thinking, and actually this project is created not on request of your concerns. I figured it out last year myself, as I'm as a concerned citizen of this world. Well, I called it Post Platform, and in the beginning I thought it was just my idea, but later on I found it's not only mine, and I'll talk about it later on. Okay, let's start. So why do we need change in this world of IT, data management and platforms, etc.? First of all, platforms own people. And well, if you look at the capitalization of any platform, modern investors, they calculate it in a very simple way. They just take amount of users you have, and they just multiply it by a factor of, for example, $100. So, well, Facebook, it has so many, 10 billion users, and then, you get 1 trillion capitalization. So, whenever you talk to investors about the value of the platform, they don't care how good is the platform, they don't care about functionality, artificial intelligence, anything. They care only about the amount of people, which actually demonstrates the essence. Platforms own people. So it's a kind of modern slavery. And actually, one of the reasons for that is that people actually create the content for platforms. So just imagine, in all previous years, businesses had to do it themselves. They had to create the product using the money of their customers or investors or loans, whatever. Nowadays, you just create the platform, and then people start to work for you. So they create value for you. Formally speaking, it belongs to them. And GDPR requires that content belongs to people, but essentially it doesn't. And whatever you do with platforms, they will behave like they own the content. Also, another parameter which makes it look like slavery is that people cannot leave platforms. If I have friends in Facebook, what can I do? I can't go to LinkedIn, because all my likes, dislikes, posts, communication is done through Facebook, or vice versa. So platforms really lock me in to the platform, and I cannot do anything about it. Effectively, we are talking about slavery. Well, it's not so simple as you think. Well, we used to think that we live in the real world, physical world, and we take data like a kind of, virtual world. Actually, it's vice versa. Please check the TED Talk from Yuval Harari, the famous author of Homo Deus and other books. And the guy explains pretty well that the real reality we live in, it's a virtual reality. I mean, money, contracts, cadastre, states, governments, it's all fiction. It's just in our minds. So it exists as long as our archives are okay. But if you look from the space, you don't see governments, you don't see states, you just see mountains, trees, etc. So the whole society is essentially lives in the data structures we create. So this slavery is quite real one. Well, also, when you have monopoly on any segment of the market, you have no competition. Why Facebook should make itself better? Well, it's okay. I mean, they can keep the same interface for years and the same functionality. What can you do? Yeah, why should they bother? It's not good for us, for citizens. No privacy. Well, you know it yourself. GDPR is a great idea, but in reality it doesn't work well, because you are running after these platforms, you ask them to be good, and they say yes, we will be good, and that's it. They will not be good because their interests contradict the interests of society, at least in the short term. Ratings. We don't talk about ratings a lot, but ratings really matter. Platforms in the modern world collect all kinds of ratings of people, and they trade these ratings. Mobile operators sell it to the banks, or taxi sells it to the bank. Probably it's part of the revenue of Uber, what drivers think about their clients, and vice versa. And in countries like China, government does it. So your rating belongs, in the authoritarian countries like Russia or China, it belongs to government, but in civilized countries, democratic countries, it belongs to corporations, big brother. I don't know what is better, frankly speaking. Well, from one side it's good. In China you can get a loan in 5 seconds just through any mobile application, use your rating collected by the government. If you're a good guy, you get rating. But if Chinese government doesn't like you, you're in big troubles. Well, actually, we don't want ratings to belong to governments or companies. We want it to belong to us. It's a big issue and it's really important. Well, we have another issue, personal assistance. Siri, Google Assistant, Amazon Alexa, they're all coming to us. And these guys are promising a lot of troubles to us as a society, because these guys will really control people and their behavior. Well, security is quite low. We have spam, too many passwords, which is, I think, a very big issue. Lack of electronic voting and other stuff. Well, we have enough troubles to be really worried. What can we do except for GDPR? Well, I have a good surprise. There is a silver bullet. And this silver bullet is called POS platforms, or Solid, to be more specific. What does it mean? Well, actually, in order to understand this simple silver bullet, let's understand the technical essence. It's very simple, I promise you. And then you'll see all the consequences which come out of it. Well, actually, the whole idea of Solid protocol is just next generation of the good old web technology. Therefore, in order to understand POS platforms, let's first recall the web technology, how it works. I hope you already you understand the essence of it. Everybody, it could be a person or a company, could have a web server of your own. You put your information, etc. And this web server could be reviewed by the browser. So people on this side use browsers to check your web server. They can read it. They use so-called HTTP protocol, and they read it through the chosen browser. You can use Google Chrome, Internet Explorer, Netscape Navigator. You choose it. It doesn't matter. And any browser uses exactly the same protocol to get access to any server. And by the way, it's important for the further discussion, this is human readable information. So only human can read web pages. Computers cannot. Good. It worked very well before 2000. Then people understood that it's too many web servers, it's too complicated to get through them, and people needed some kind of more unified service, and then the platforms came to our world. Platforms for everything, in any aspect of our life, photographs, video, social interaction, mobile storytelling in my case. We have platforms. Platforms are a very simple service. They have big database. They expect publishers to publish something, some posts, photographs, whatever, storytelling in my case. And then people use it through the normal web browser, but people read all this data only through the logged-in platform. So if I use Facebook, as I said, I cannot cross this barrier and start to use LinkedIn. So I use them separately, and I see the separate discussions, separate things, separate messaging system. So it's a big Chinese wall between them, and if I'm logged here, I'm here forever. So, well, inside it's very comfortable, outside not, and we have all these problems. Well, what can you do with that if you want to really everybody interact with everybody? Actually, and some people say, well, let's split Facebook like that. Well, you can split into parts. You just create more barriers. It doesn't help. So these people will not be able to communicate if you split it like that. So it's not possible just to split it to small companies. But you can split it exactly like you split energy company or gas company in Netherlands. What did you do? You disconnected along the value chain. So you can split it this way. So if you do it this way, with the scissors, you can disconnect Facebook as a service from database which actually use or from data. So if you split it, we get something like that. Facebook and LinkedIn is here and any other platform as well, and data is here. So actually it reminds good old web server. Like people used before. We just call it different way Solid, but essentially Solid is just next generation of web service. So yeah, you may consider it for a while as a web server. And so people continue to use browser, and actually Facebook becomes a kind of browser itself, because what it does, it can look at any solid server and also at these two solid servers. And LinkedIn, it also can look at the solid server. So it's like gas or electricity. You allow everybody to get access to any platform. So that's what you need as a policymaker, to split it this way and can interconnect them in all possible ways. Well, it will be called Solid Protocol. As I said, it's just extension of web protocol, very simple. And this is very important. This is machine readable info. Well, what does it mean? Let me give you an example. Imagine any web server, it's a kind of tree. When you create your web server, you are a creative person, you create different branches, different leaves, a lot of pages. Well, you can create any way you want, because you know that person who will read it, he will understand your web server. Well, in this case, it will be slightly different. Imagine let's talk about the section of the company called about the company. Address information, etc., etc. Yeah, most of web servers have it. Well, in this case, it will be a special page with special name, like, about the company. And on this page, data will be stored in very special format. First will be name, photograph, telephone, web, address, and all other stuff, contact information, not vice versa, but in a very predefined, standardized way. Which means that on your tree of website, it will be a special branch which is created in a very special form, like that. And another tree will have exactly the same branch. So if you get to this forest of a lot of web servers of different people and organizations, you will see that through the whole forest, all trees have one branch is exactly the same. So a browser, Facebook, can see all of them, billion of websites in one go. And that's amazing, because a browser which can see 1 billion websites, that's what you need, because then you can get a lot of much more information than just from one website. So this is machine readable information. So Facebook or LinkedIn as a machine browser will be able to read this service, because information there is understandable for Facebook. Facebook will be able to interpret in the right way. And then Facebook will process it exactly like it does now. So from this side, it will be the same service, the same Facebook. So people will read it through the normal browser. The difference for them will be that they can read through the chosen post browser. This girl can change Facebook to LinkedIn. Nothing will be changed. She will open LinkedIn, and on LinkedIn she will see exactly the same solid service of the same people or organizations. So the same posts, the same likes, the same dislikes. If she doesn't like LinkedIn, she will switch to LinkedIn 2, LinkedIn 3, LinkedIn 4. You got the point. So we have this post browser, we call post browser, which is kind of what will be left over of platforms, and this post browsers will be interchangeable. That's essentially the idea of Solid, as simple as that. Now we can talk about consequences. Consequences will be tremendous. Let's start. What are consequences for platforms like Booking.com, like my izi.TRAVEL and any other platform? First of all, we do not change the business model of platforms. Yeah, tell them, guys, you earned your money through advertising, whatever, do your business. We are concerned with information which you get. You will get it from our personal solid service. But the way you do business, please continue to do it your way. But quite soon they will find the changes in their business operations. Actually, we convert platforms to post browsers. What browser means? Browser means that all browsers look exactly the same thing. So they cannot compete with each other with, who has more people, because they all have the same amount of people. So platforms do not own people anymore. We got rid of slavery from the very beginning. It's very simple. So people can change the post browsers, as I said. Next thing, competition will be changed. Now they compete in the amount of people, but they will start competition in functionality. So, well, of course, if all post browsers or former platforms, if all of them have access to exactly the same information, the only way to compete is to compete with functionality. That's what we want from them. Very good. Well, it also means zero entry barrier for new post browsers. Well, at this moment, to come to competition to Facebook, I have to find probably €1 billion, because my investor will tell me, Alex, if you don't have 1 billion users, what can you do? So you need really €1 billion just to start your operations. Now, I just launch a small Facebook 2 company, and my social network will immediately on the day 1 have access to, I don't know, 10 billion people. I mean, whatever amount Facebook has. And as simple as that. So entry barrier is just amount of software developer efforts to create Facebook. I think with a good team of software developers, I can recreate the Facebook for, let's say, I don't know, €5 million? It's enough. Platforms will grow wide through industries. Well, imagine your platform can publish photographs, but if you have access to all the solid servers, you can publish a resume from these people. You can publish the things they sell, like on Marktplaats. You can go to organizations which create something and become a web shop. I mean, nothing stops you. So as a company which is a future post browser, you can do any business. So, well, you tell to your clients, come to my platform, you can get anything in one place. So it will be not like, Facebook for social network and LinkedIn for business network and Instagram for photographs or YouTube for video. It will be one platform for it all. But it will be many of these one platforms. You will have a choice. Capitalization goes to a reasonable number. That's what we want. That's what you want as policymakers. You don't want Facebook, to have capitalization 1 trillion. I mean, why? It's just a messaging system. How come messaging? I mean, what's the price of email? Email has 0 price. And yeah, what's the price of, I don't know, some WhatsApp? Yeah, billion, couple billions, max, but not trillion. So when you have 0 entry barriers, you can figure out that capitalization goes to a reasonable amount. I mean, amount which is defined by competition. That's what we want. We want market to be fair. We don't want Facebook to earn more than any car dealer earns. So, we return to the good old classical capitalism. That's the purpose, and I think it's very good. Well, there are consequences for people, for citizens. Let's have a look. First of all, I own my own data. I have my data, so I'm a physical person, and I would love to have my personal data all in one place. So when I have it, it's here. I don't have to check different databases, what Dutch government has on me, what Facebook has on me. Should I, if I move to another house, I have to change my address at so many platforms with bank, mobile operators, government. Come on, cadastre. Well, this is a very good item. I do not publish anymore on XYZ platform. So imagine I want to publish a resume. Well, now I have to publish it on, I don't know, 10 headhunting platforms just to find the job. In the new mentality, I just publish my resume. I just publish on my own solid server, and I'm pretty sure that all headhunters in the world will immediately pick it up like, hungry fish. And they will love to sell me, and they will compete how they sell my resume. And when my resume is sold, when I get the job, I just go to my solid server and say, I'm not looking for a job anymore. I just remove my resume, unmark it. At this moment, all these platforms which use my resume will unlist it. And I will not be bothered with calls of, headhunters anymore. So I just publish my resume, I just publish my post. And yeah, the only thing I will have to do, I will have to authorize which post browsers can get it, but we can go to the details in more detailed discussion. Well, as a user, I can change platforms every day, searching for the best. Yeah, that's great. It means that finally, functionality of all platforms will go up, because now it's frozen because they're monopolist. Well, and I don't care anymore what platforms my friends use. So if I send a message through Facebook to my colleague Mike, I don't know what Mike uses. Probably he uses, some strange Skype. So I write in Facebook, he'll get it through Skype. Fine. It's similar to email. Think about email. When you send email, do you care what kind of mail program do I use? No, you don't. It's good because email was created in those times when we didn't have platforms. So it's much better. And of course, we'll have this one messaging ecosystem. So like with emails, your messages will just get to people. So you just write this email message to Mike, or you call to Mike, and you'll not even think, do you call through telephone or WhatsApp or Skype? You just call to him. If you create teleconference, you just create conference, not conference through Cisco, Microsoft Teams or Google. Who cares? Next very important change from consumer to prosumer. Prosumer is a great word. You understand, it comes from producer and consumer at the same time. Actually, it will happen because, we already see it now. People become self-employed. I mean, I can work in the bank during the day, and at night I can be a taxi driver. And during vacation, when I go somewhere, I can rent out my house through Airbnb, or I can translate from English to Spanish when I have spare time, or sit with some people, or repair a computer, whatever. As a person, I can do a lot of things, and I don't mind to sell it to my neighbors. And of course, platforms help us a lot. But in this case, when I will not have to think, okay, if I want to sell my computer repair capacity, I have to go to this platform. But if I want to sell my capacity as a taxi driver, I have to go to Uber. No, I just publish my skills, just publish them. And who needs my skills, they will come to me and buy the skills. So it will be more and more natural for people to sell their skills, and more people will become self-employed. So it will be, we will continue this trend to self-employment, and we'll give it a big push, because it will be very easy. You just publish your skills and people start using it. And by the way, it will change the local community ecosystem. So it's like, it's in good old village. In village, everybody knows who can do which guy can repair and which girl can, make pancakes. It doesn't matter. You know people around you. So these modern platforms will recreate the small community. So on my street, this guy can lend me these tools, and from this guy I can rent a car. Yeah, that's fun. So people will start using these post platforms just to create this, sharing economy, and they will become prosumers. And I think this is a really great social impact thing. Rating. I already told that rating is important. Well, and I will need, as a prosumer, as a person who sells something, I will need my rating. So if I sell some translation skills, I really want my rating to be visible, and I want my solid server to collect my rating. And I want this rating to come from all the platforms which I use. So if I sold my sofa and somebody wrote something about the quality of the sofa, that, oh yeah, it was good sofa, I wanted to increase my rating. If I was a taxi driver and my passenger reported to Uber, yeah, it was a great guy, I want Uber to return my rating to me, according to GDPR. Yeah, and Uber will return my rating, Mark Plus will return my rating, Facebook will return rating on every like or dislike which I get. So finally on my solid server, all these ratings will be accumulated, creating my karma, electronic karma I call it. And if this karma is good, I can sell myself better. If it's not good, I can sell myself. Well, but this rating belongs to me. Of course, I will not be able to change the rating. We will use quite powerful cryptography, like blockchain, but not blockchain, of course. We'll use quite powerful cryptography protocols to make sure that you cannot change your rating yourself. Well, you can hide it, you can delete it. But if you delete it, people will know, okay, all these people around, they have their rating for already 20 years, and this guy, for whatever reason, deleted his rating. Yeah, let's treat him accordingly. So you will think twice before hiding or deleting your rating. And this will, again, significantly change the society, how it works. First of all, for the first time, it will become profitable to be a good person. If you're a good person, you will get all the benefits of being a good person. Yeah, quite good. So all GDPR goals will be achieved automatically. That's what we want. And we'll use the power of cryptography. Cryptography is very important in the POS platforms, because I will have to authorize which POS browsers can access my data. I have my personal rating things and it requires cryptography, of course. And Solid will push personal cryptography electronic ID further, because at this moment it exists only at the corporate level. You have a card from the bank or a card from your company, but it can go beyond corporations. To go to the whole society, all these good methods of personal keys and personal electronic passport, you may call it, all this need a big kick from some big project. Solid is a big project, so we have a hope that it will give a big kick to this electronic ID further, because there are no technical issues to have absolutely perfect electronic IDs. We know this mathematics for at least 30 years, since asymmetrical cryptography was published in the article of Diffie-Hellman, 1972, almost 50 years. But so it's not that we don't know how to do it. We need a big power to push this electronic ID to society, and Solid has this chance. And outcomes go beyond the POS platforms and all your needs. So for example, no more hundreds of passwords. You don't need passwords. You just have one mobile ID on your telephone and it will work. E-voting or electronic signatures, or no spam because all emails will be signed, and no cards of any sorts, no passports, etc. It will be just one, for example, mobile ID or some flash card with crypto computer on that, and it will be absolutely different world, much more simple and more secure and more private. Well, now we come to the most difficult question: how to make it happen? We all love this great pattern of POS platforms, and actually I will come to it. Some people already trying to do it for 10 years and didn't happen. So we need to talk about who is against, who is pro. During our telco yesterday, when I suggested to you guys that I will record this video, Paul asked me, Alex, it's great, but how can you make all this change? Because large platforms, they will be against. Facebook, Booking.com, Google, they will never ever allow you to do it. Yes, there will not be big fonts of this technology because it will significantly diminish their capitalization. I totally understand, but let's have a look at those who are pro. So whenever you think about any change in society, it's very important to understand who is con, who is pro. And probably if you have enough power here, probably you can outperform these guys. So that's very important, to be practical and understand your powers and your possibilities. Well, first of all, we have organizations which were never admitted to platform world, mobile operators and banks, and I will explain later how we can use it. We have second level platforms, because in any segment, for example, you know in video YouTube, right? Most of you know. But if I ask you who is number 2 in video, probably 10% will tell me Vimeo. But if I ask who is number 3, I doubt that anybody knows it. I don't know it myself, because who cares? Although we do understand with you that amount of platforms which allow you to publish your video, it's huge. Of course, it's not 3 platforms. So there are a lot of second level platforms which would love to play this game just to outperform these guys. Let's use their power. We have startups and their investors. When startups and investors will learn that we are opening a new possibility with zero entry barrier, they will come. Other type of businesses, ERP suppliers. ERP is enterprise resource platforms like, SAP system, which any company, any shop, any enterprise use such system just to control their data. All these guys will be big stakeholders in our business. I will explain later. Businesses which suffered from platforms, for example, hotels. Hotels are suffering from Booking.com enormously. And actually the whole project came to my mind 2 years ago at some conference with hotels, where I saw how frustrated hotels when they have to give from 15 to 25% to Booking.com. For hotels, sometimes 5% is a big margin, but 20-25%, it's really crazy. These guys would love to participate in this game. And hotels are quite powerful. Citizens, they have power. Businesses from all this ID and crypto sector. Mobile ID, for example, is great technology, but it's not developing because nobody pushed it. So mobile ID provides great opportunity, but now it stands idle and cannot promote itself. We will promote it. Universities, they are very important and they have their own benefits. We'll talk about it. Policymakers, activists, you know everything about yourself, so you're definitely for. So all these guys together probably will outperform these guys if you do it in a smart way. Well, let's have a look at this post-platform landscape, because I said that I created this idea last September. I wrote a white paper about it, you can read about it. And then I thought, well, it's just crazy idea, it can be so good. And then I started to realize that, yeah, other people also thought about it. For example, Tim Berners-Lee. I'm not sure you recall the name, but this guy invented the web technology 30 years ago. And he joined forces with Bruce Schneier. Well, you probably don't know Bruce Schneier, but in cryptography, any specialist has his books on the shelf. I also have it. Applied cryptography from Bruce Schneier actually made him a guru in the world of cryptography. And actually the guy recreated the whole modern cryptography almost alone. He's a real guru. These two guys joined forces together to create a solid-based project called Inrupt, its company in UK. So the father of the web technology now promotes this next level of web technology. Well, what can be better? I mean, it's a great reference, I would say. And W3 Consortium. W3 Consortium is a consortium which standardizes all the standards around web technology. It has now solid standard committee. Yeah, so people already working on the standard. Very good. Post-platforms association, like in any industry, associations play a very important role, especially in post-platforms. Ideas project from Fraunhofer Institute, very good establishment, so it's quite serious. Gaia X project from Brussels, from European Commission. It also goes in the same direction. And by the way, TNO.nl, you definitely know this organization from Netherlands. They are representative of this Gaia X project in Netherlands. Well, frankly speaking, this guy is a little bit too formal. They start from, general words. They're not so specific as my solid project started by Tim Berners-Lee, but it's a good development. I mean, if you join forces, it will be great. Dutch Cadastre, you could be surprised. All these guys in Cadastre, and I had a great conversation with them today just to check it out. They told me that their data science team actually works on the very similar developments for a while already. They do know Solid, and they have monthly seminars on Solid, and they even launched the platform Link Data Netherlands platform. So a lot of things happen. It's not only Cadastre, I think it goes to tax authorities and other. So a lot of administration units of Dutch government already knows about Solid. So it's not like Alex Tourski brought to you, guys, it already exists. What I do, I think I'm a kind of interpreter, because all these guys in Dutch Cadastre, I mean, when I spoke to them, they're scientists, they talk scientific language. It will be very difficult for them to talk to you, to politicians directly, because they talk about technology. Imagine I'm selling to you web technology, and I start to talk about HTML language, HTTP protocol, it will drive you crazy. Because as policymakers, you're not interested in how to make this nitty-gritty stuff. You need to understand the answer to the question, why? Why should we do it? What do we get? What are balance of powers? Scientists don't speak this language. We businessmen talk this language. So I think I'm playing a big important role here, being a kind of interface between all these very smart people and you politicians. And I also do my own project, because at this moment I'm looking for investors to start my own private enterprise exactly in this area. Well, Tim Berners-Lee and Bruce Schneier and all these great people work already for almost 10 years, I guess. No result. Why? Because at this moment Solid is mostly, as I said, in hands of scientists. And it's good because technology is developed, but it's not good because it's not implemented. Actually, why Tim Berners-Lee does it this way, like he does now? He talks about technology. Because 30 years ago, when Guy invented web technology, it was very simple. He just created HTTP, HTML protocol standard, and then it spread like fire. Because internet in those times, 30 years ago, Internet belongs to universities. So if you're a university professor, you invent something like web technology, wow, in a couple of years, all universities in the world use this technology. And later on, students graduate from universities, they go to the industry. So by the year 1995, all the students already brought web technology to businesses. So Tim Berners-Lee thought, yeah, it worked first time, why it shouldn't work this time? It doesn't work this time, because at this moment, year 2021, internet belongs to corporations, Facebook and Google. These guys will never ever let Solid go themselves. They will block it as much as they can. And I'm pretty sure they told to Mr. Tim Berners-Lee, we respect you very much, you know that you are sire, etc., but sorry, come to us later. So that's the point. Well, to understand how to really implement it, we need to find some ways, some tricks to really implement this thing. So if you look at this schema, which we already looked before, well, we have to make two things. First, we have to give a solid server to every person in the world and to every company. At the same time, we have to talk to these guys and somehow persuade them to use solid protocol. Yeah, two very difficult tasks. How can we do it? Let's see. Let's spread a little bit. So platforms are here, solid servers are there. Let's split it to citizens and companies. And I think we have a solution. That's what I'm going to do with my business, by the way. We are going to talk to mobile operators. We will suggest mobile operators to sell solid service to people. Like, you know, €1 per month. Why? Because you can earn money with it. You can publish your resume, you can publish your skills, you can publish your software like on Marktplaats, you can publish it all on all your solid service. And we mobile operators, we will force all the smaller platforms, not Facebook, not big ones, but smaller platforms like Marktplaats. Marktplaats is a small company. We will really push them to use solid protocol. Why? Because as mobile operator, we will bring to them 50 million users of Vodafone. Yeah, imagine you're a headhunter and Vodafone comes to you and say, yeah, do you want to get 50 million users who are identified, authenticated, have their solid server and already published the CV? Do you want them or not? For free? Of course, any headhunter say, yeah, I want them. So we will make them use it. So that's the first step. Very good. We go further. When we go to companies, imagine we want to fight with Booking.com. We don't have to fight with Booking.com. We have to make sure that every hotel in the world has solid server, and then startups and smaller platforms will jump to it and say, yeah, that's a great idea. How you do it? We talk to ERP suppliers like SAP or other suppliers. Because in the world of hotels, it's only less than 10 global ERP suppliers to hotels. They love new modules in their system. So we will integrate the solid server into their normal service. And solid server will get connected to all information about hotel and will start working automatically. So hotel doesn't even have to do anything. It will just work. So we agree with these guys, they will install it. So by 1st of January 2022, all hotels in the world, a majority of them, will have solid server already up and running. So we can announce it to the small platforms and we will invite them. That's how we deal with companies. Good. Then all small platforms start participating in the game, and of course they start to push large platforms. So large platforms have to do something. By the way, we did the same with izi.TRAVEL. First, when we provide our audio guides, we start with big museums. They didn't want to talk to us because they have great European grants. We start with small museums. So when we have enough small museums in the area, big museums have to join. So large platforms will not stand this push from small platforms. And from the right side, probably you, policymakers, will help us. You'll somehow push large platforms with some kind of GDPR extension that, okay, guys, we give you 3 years. After 3 years, you have to give away all your data to people through any kind of, could be solid, could be not solid, we don't care, we are just authorities, but make sure you don't have data on your server, because we know it is possible. So you will not have it in 3 years. Yeah, you push a little bit from this side, large platforms will have to give in. That's my idea. Well, so it's a lot of stakeholders in the business, and public authorities, we discussed businesses, government services like cadastre, whatever, funds, universities. Universities are very important here because first of all they will help us with development of the standard, but also they have their own projects. For example, they want a karma server for their students so that students get their rating not only from platform but also from university. And I already spoke with universities, they like this idea. Also universities have their own issues. They have issue with so-called open publishing because modern scientists, they cannot get access to articles for free. Not possible. With post platforms, it's possible. And now I'm dealing with Radboud University. I start to talk to 3 other universities. Wageningen, it's Erasmus, it's Eindhoven University. And yeah, we'll probably start this project, and it's good because scientists will get free access to papers. It will be kind of, side product of post platforms, which will change the whole world of science in a way. Platforms will participate, standards, and with standards it's also important. Solid will be a standard, but first we have to do something to prove how it works and then standardize it, because sometimes people think, okay, let's make standard first, but let's not talk about it. Well, now to sum it up, I want to talk about evolution of new territories. Let's think about America in 18th and 19th century. It's a timeline. First, it was discovery. When you discover America, what happens? Pioneers go there. They go to the West, they get new territories, everybody is great guy, etc. Then capitalism follows them. When capitalism follows, you have a very strange thing which we call Wild West. It's great because a lot of new goods come, but Wild West bring a lot of troubles. Troubles because all social services like police, like court, it belongs to companies, railroad companies, livestock companies in America, and these guys do whatever they want. There is no law. So when people start to suffer from it, we come to the next stage, when change of the pattern, of the social pattern. The government and public services are introduced. So every new territory comes through the stages. If you look at internet as a new territory, we see exactly the same. We had great discovery phase, web, email protocol, all these great things. Internet is free forever, not forever. By the year of 2000, platform came here, and we have now Wild West. What I mean, for example, passport. There is passport from Facebook and Google. So what do we see? It's like good old railway companies had law in their hands. Now passports are in hands of Facebook and Google. I don't like it as a citizen. I would prefer to have my own passport. I don't want Facebook to know which website I visit, because every time I go with Facebook passport, Facebook knows where I go. And they use this information and they sell this information. I don't want them to sell my information. So we need post platforms. It's a kind of change of the pattern. And this change of the pattern could be done together. Businesses and authorities and universities and other great guys together. That's my idea. So we have the change in 2000 with platforms. Now it's time to really do the change and bring civilization to the new territory called internet. Well, that's more or less what I wanted to tell you. And thank you very much. I think I've done my task, which I promised to you yesterday. Talk to you later. Bye.